Thank you for joining us on this Friday, August 28th. Joining you from the Beasley Media Complex in Boone, this is the Appalachian Weekly News. I'm Katie Garceran.
And I'm Xanayra Marin-Lopez.
We are back in the studio, but we are social distancing.
That's right, Katie. We are here wearing masks and social distancing to adhere to CDC guidelines, not only to keep ourselves safe, but also our crew.
Speaking of COVID-19, we will begin with an update on the COVID-19 pandemic in the high country. App Healthcare created a chart showing the amount of COVID-19 cases among students and employees. As of August 27th, there are 38 active cases. Another study shows that UNC Chapel Hill has the highest number of cases with 999 cases total. NC State is second with 641, and finally East Carolina University is third with 392 cases total since the pandemic began.
With the reopening of campus this fall semester, Chancellor Sherry Everts has been the topic of discussion among students and staff. App State's Faculty Senate passed a resolution of no confidence in the Chancellor last Monday. The no confidence resolution is symbolic and won't likely result from a departure from the Chancellor. The resolution had 23 votes in favor, 12 against, and 6 abstained. Associate Chemistry Professor Michael Hamburger authored the resolution. During the meeting, Hamburger said the Chancellor's priorities have not aligned with keeping students and faculty safe during the pandemic. Students shared a similar belief the same day with a protest. Organizers wrote the words, "People are not profit," in chalk on Sanford Mall. Another protest, this one in the form of a sit-in, was held this past Monday, again on Sanford Mall. Senior Matthew Frankel says the decision to come back to campus held a financial motivation.
In-person classes never should have happened. It always should have been online, and it was always about money, namely room and board. But we're gonna see a spike in cases. It's a matter of time, and I'm just wondering how many people have to get sick, hospitalized, and God forbid die before they move classes online like every other school has done.
To reduce the spread of COVID-19, App State is making face masks and social distancing mandatory for anyone on campus. Most classes are online, and the university has adopted stricter cleaning regulations. The next Faculty Senate meeting will be held September 14th.
And speaking of things taking forever, Xanayra, As You Learn continues to have its share of problems as more classes go completely online. Did you have any problems with that this week?
I sure did, Katie. Kat Fast has more on the story for us.
Let's say this. You're on your way to class. You're all ready. You have all your things. But when you get to the door, it's jammed. What do?
This was a digital reality for App State students. With the first day of class happening online, students and faculty started experiencing issues with As You Learn.
It was kind of a perfect storm that we thought we had prepared for, and it just kind of brought the As You Learn to its knees a little bit.
The storm was a combination of so many users logging in and the accessing of embedded files. Van Gilder said As You Learn had spikes between 21,000 and 24,000 access requests coming in, as well as an increase of file access.
As You Learn is meant to not be a large video file repository, I guess is what I'm getting at.
It's not the next YouTube.
No, it's not. It's not intended to be. So,
in terms of As You Learn's future, the team is looking at more monitoring solutions, a video content management platform, and Remind.com.
So we're always trying to kind of keep up with our game and make sure that we're providing the best of class learning management system for the campus.
With the Appalachian Weekly News, I'm Kat Fast.
It looks like ASU Learn wasn't the only thing hard to access this new semester. Textbooks have also become hard to come by for students as they begin their new classes. The university is now requiring all students to order their books online, eliminating the previous option to go to the bookstore with their printed book list. When placing an online order, students can either ship with UPS or pick up their books in person from a tent outside the bookstore. Both options cost $10. Textbook requests are able to be fulfilled in 3 days. Freshman Jean Holman is one student who experienced some trouble.
I've been here for like an hour just waiting on the textbook, and then my other textbooks are still in back order for another class, and they've been on back order for like a month now.
If you still need assistance getting your books or have any questions, contact the University Bookstore at 828-262-3070 for help.
Like so much of campus, many clubs have changed to a virtual setting this year. During the Virtual Club Expo, students had the opportunity to see all the clubs available with Zoom links to find out more information. If you missed this, just log in to engage.appstate.edu. Here you'll find a list of all of the different organizations on campus that you can join. One organization that is still meeting in person is the Reformed University Fellowship. Elizabeth Walton is a student who is excited to see fellow club members, but wants to do it safely.
I mean, I'd say it's a lot of mixed emotions. I think I'm really excited to see people in person, but of course, like, meeting in person does present risks, which we are trying to do the best we can to stay distance and wear masks. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited.
Speaking of clubs, Katie, the Brennan Student Union is the hub for all student life and on-campus organizations.
Oh, I miss hanging out in the solarium doing homework. Our correspondent Wade Wilson has the story on how the union is operating under new safety precautions.
Now that several schools have moved their classes completely online, it's up in the air whether another North Carolina university will go virtual as well. To ensure the safety of its workers and the student body, the Plymouth Student Union is implementing several precautions within the building to reduce the spread of COVID-19 all across campus. The Plymouth Student Union used to operate as the center hub of campus, hosting numerous club events, dances, and more, but that was before COVID-19. According to a student union email, the building still plans to see 8,000 to 10,000 students per day, but the ballrooms and meeting areas are now only used as an academic space. Student supervisor Michael Annable explains further changes within the building.
Things have changed a lot. Instead of doing a lot of setups throughout the day, we are doing cleaning about every hour. It's honestly a huge change. Given the circumstances, it's about the best we can do, but we're making it do.
Annable also describes the new safety precautions that the student union is taking because safety is the union's top priority.
We have a mask mandate as much as the campus does. We have sanitizer at each exit. We go through pretty much every railing, stairwell, room. We go through everything and clean it. We want to make sure the students feel safe and that they see us cleaning, they see us trying.
Student union employee Melanie Voss discusses the benefits of the union's safety precautions.
I, of course, am a little bit nervous just for obvious reasons, but I am thankful that our safety as employees and students has been at the forefront of the way that the union has been operating.
Because the student union and App State's campus are taking necessary safety measures, that does not mean that students and faculty should stop being careful.
Since the student union is a place where thousands of students cross through every single day, I still have some concerns, but I do feel good about the way that things are operating right now.
With a pandemic looming, the student union wants to prioritize the safety of the student body. These new precautions both prioritize safety as well as making sure the semester is as normal as it can be. For the Appalachian Weekly News, I'm Wade Wilson.
Election day is now less than 70 days away. We turn to our political correspondent, Moss Brennan, to find out what key issues will be on the local ballot in Watauga County. So Moss, what can we expect this election season, and what's going on with the App State voting site?
Hey Xanayra, so yeah, the App State voting site is kind of up in the air right now. On Monday, the North Carolina State Board of Elections will decide the fate of if we have an App State campus voting site and where it will be. They will decide if it will be in the Holmes Convocation Center or in the Blue Ridge Ballroom in the Plymouth Student Union where it's been years past.
So why couldn't the Board of Elections come to a unanimous decision, Moss?
Yeah, so when the Board of Elections met, the Watauga County Board of Elections met a few weeks ago, they were kind of deciding where the site should be as well as other sites. This site in particular was kind of the crux of the whole meeting on what should happen with it. So one of the sites that was proposed by the university was the Holmes Convocation Center. It's a large space, larger than the Blue Ridge Ballroom, and has space to social distance. So the minority vote, they voted to have that one. It was like 2 or 3 people who voted for that one. Now the other vote that took place was if they should have it in the Blue Ridge Ballroom, which has been in years past. So because they couldn't decide that and be unanimous, the North Carolina Board of Elections has to decide. So we'll find out Monday if it will be in the Union or the Holmes Convocation Center, 2 very different spaces on campus.
Now Moss, for students that don't know how to register to vote this year, how can they do that?
So this year, like past years, there's still the normal ways to register to vote. So you can go and find somebody on campus that does a voter registration form, and you can fill it out like normal, and they'll turn it in, and you can register to vote that way. You can also register to vote in person by going to a one-stop early voting site. Now, if you go to a one-stop early voting site, you have to bring some form of identification that shows you're a Watauga County resident. So that can be some kind of bill that has your name on it, as well as your address. It can be a driver's license if it has your name name on it and a Watauga County address. So it can really be any of those things. You don't need a picture ID, you just need some kind of form that shows, yes, I am a Watauga County resident. You can also go to the Watauga County Board of Elections website or the North Carolina State Board of Elections website and see what is then registered to vote through them, or you can go to the DMV and register to vote that way as well.
Okay, so also, how can voters return those ballots, Moss?
So like I said, you can kind of vote the same way as normal. You can go in person on election day, or you can go early voting, but you can also vote by absentee. So the last day to request an absentee ballot is October 27th. So election officials are urging that people who request an absentee ballot submit it earlier than the final deadline, which is November 3rd is obviously the deadline because it has to be in by then. But they will take votes. They will take absentee ballots up to November 6th if it's been postmarked before that date. So they're urging people to send them in sooner than later, and because of the potential mail delays. So you can request that by going to the Watauga County Board of Elections, and they will send you one. And they will start sending those ballots out by September 4th.
This past Monday in Charlotte, President Donald Trump was officially nominated by the Republican Party as their candidate for the 2020 election. Moss, you were there. How was it that night?
Yeah, so me and my political correspondent, we were there. We kind of went to see what was happening in Charlotte. Obviously, President Trump spoke in Charlotte that day at the RNC convention to the 336 delegates that were there. They officially nominated him, and he spoke last night. He gave about an hour-long speech, which was very different from Joe Biden's speech last week for the DNC, which was about 25 minutes. So obviously very different there. But while we were there, we kind of saw that there were protests going on. There was a lot of security up. Earlier in the day before we got there were protesters and supporters of Trump kind of going at it. But kind of during the night when we were there, a lot of the protests were kind of part of the social upheaving that this country has seen lately with the Black Lives Matter movement. So really, the RNC happened, DNC happened. We're getting to the election cycle. Both parties have their official candidates, and before you know it, it's going to be November 3rd, and we'll have President Donald Trump reelected or a new president.
Well, thanks so much, Moss. We look forward to hearing more updates as the election season progresses.
Thanks, guys.
This next story is delicious. If you are looking to change your eating habits, 2 students have opened a new business offering a variety of healthy food options. Blue Ridge Nutrition sells everything from teas to milkshakes to smoothies and focuses on building energy and hydration. Rachel Skinner and Samantha Leonard are the owners of Blue Ridge Nutrition. They opened the shop because they were inspired by a business in their hometown. Both women are full-time students and say that while it's hard to balance school with running a business, it's been a very rewarding experience. Blue Ridge Nutrition is located across from the Convocation Center at 475 Blowing Rock Road.
We now go to Connor Davidson for more updates on fall sports.
Thanks, Xanayra. COVID-19 has been affecting so many different things this year, and App State football is certainly no exception. On August 18th, App State and App Healthcare announced that there were 11 active COVID-19 cases associated with the football team consisting of 7 players and 4 staff members. Practice was canceled as a result for 2 days. 6 players cleared isolation 2 days later, and the team was back to practicing in pods by Friday. The football schedule has also seen some changes as a result of COVID-19. 4 non-conference teams have canceled their matchups with the Mountaineers, resulting in new opponents being scheduled. App State is now set to play Charlotte on September 12th in Boone, at Marshall on September 19th, and against Campbell on September 26th at home. In these replacement matchups, I don't see the Mountaineers having too much trouble. On Tuesday, the Sun Belt announced its preseason awards. App State was picked to win the Sun Belt Championship for the 5th straight year, and 10 players were placed on preseason all-conference teams. 7 Mountaineers were named to the preseason first team, including preseason Offensive Player of the Year quarterback Zach Thomas, wide receiver Corey Sutton, center Noah Hannon, right guard Bear Hunter, right tackle Cooper Hodges, defensive lineman Demetrius Taylor, and cornerback Sean Jolly. Wide receiver Thomas Hennigan, left guard Ryan Newsel, and cornerback Shamar Jean-Charles were named to the second team. On a more serious note, yesterday, the App State football team did not practice in light of racial injustice issues in the country. The team instead used the time to discuss the issues and create a dialogue between the players and coaches. Head coach Sean Clark said, quote, "It's my job as the head coach to make sure that I have my players' backs no matter what, and as long as I'm the head coach, they will have the final say," end quote. He also said that if they are going to make a change, it has to be together. The Marching Mountaineers will not be performing in Kidd Brewer Stadium this year in an attempt to limit the spread of COVID-19. Our correspondent Allie Powell has the story.
Only on game days here in Kid Brewer Stadium, these seats are filled with screaming fans. But this fall, the Marching Mountaineers will not be a part of the audience.
On August 20th, the Marching Mountaineers announced they will not perform live during the fall season. The Appalachian Marching Mountaineers posted on Facebook their main concern is safety. They informed fans they are brainstorming new and creative ways to incorporate the band into fall athletics. Izzy Adkins is a piccolo player for the Marching Mountaineers. Adkins says she is upset about the situation but is looking forward to the future.
One thing that's definitely taught me how to stay positive and how to keep trying to think positively. Like, yeah, we don't get to do this, but we'll also get to do something else maybe in return. And it's kind of looking towards the future too. Like, don't think about how bad it is now.
This decision was made by App State Athletics and the Hayes School of Music, along with the help of the Sunbelt Conference and public health regulations. Carrie Cook is the featured twirler for the Marching Mountaineers. Cook shares her disappointment, but strives to stay positive during this uncertain time.
We're in a pandemic. It's not safe for us to be out there. I know they considered everybody, and their decision was for everybody, the students, the staff, the players, the audience. It's the safest decision for everybody, so I totally agree with what they did, yeah.
Recorded content from the band. Even though the Marching Mountaineers will not be there in person, their excitement and cheer will be experienced throughout Kid Brewer Stadium. From the Appalachian Weekly News, I'm Allie Powell.
App State field hockey has been postponed. On August 8th, the Mid-American Conference announced the postponement of all fall sports due to COVID-19. Last season, the Mountaineers made it to the semifinals of the MAC Conference tournament for the third straight year, and they were feeling confident they could win it all this season. Senior midfielder and team captain Megan Smart says, quote, "We were so ready. We were training hard in the spring. We were ready to take it to the next level. This year was the year that we were ready to become MAC champions," end quote. Hopefully they'll get the chance to play out the season in the spring. And that's all I have for sports this week. Katie, Xanayra, shaping up to be quite the interesting year for sports.
I don't know about you, Xanayra, but I really hope we have a football season this semester. I need that for my senior year. But thank you so much, Connor.
And now it's time for your High Country High Note.
Since the COVID-19 outbreak reached North Carolina and students were sent home last spring, App State administrators have been working hard to provide a safe and healthy return to campus this fall. One of the solutions has students feeling excited. Food trucks can now be found in various spots on Sanford Mall. This is an initiative that battles crowded dining halls while also allowing students to enjoy a meal outside and contribute to local business. I spoke to an App State sophomore and regular customer of the Higher Grounds coffee truck to see how she feels about the new dining options.
It's really good with COVID because it's really helping keep people social distanced and not all just like going into the dining hall, because I know last year as a freshman it was always super packed, and I went down to like see how it was, and it's a lot better with people being outside and eating on Sanford and everything. So I think it's really helping with that.
All 4 food trucks are from restaurants around Boone, including the Cardinal Burger Wagon, Higher Grounds Coffee Truck, Betty's Biscuit Truck, and Village Inn Pizza Truck. App State is also partnering with Grubhub to speed up the ordering process so students can avoid long lines. Each food truck is a Grubhub pickup zone. Just go to the Grubhub app, select a food truck, order a meal, and pick it up when it is ready. I spoke with Scott Wilford from the Cardinal Burger Wagon. He provided some insight on how the trucks are benefiting the community outside of App State.
The food truck provides extra outlets for eating. It makes getting outdoor dining easy. It's just it's a cool new way to get people out and dining. If you get people out eating, that's the thing. You just get people out and about. That's the goal.
Wilford also had some words about how App State students can keep food truck employees and the community safe.
We want everyone to have a great semester. We want you to enjoy college. We want you to be safe. We want you to take care of each other, be kind to each other, remember Black Lives Matter, and wear your masks.
Some students have taken advantage of the food trucks by driving off campus during their breaks and enjoying their food as well as the Boone scenery. In fact, that is what I am doing right now. For the Appalachian Weekly News, I am Grace Smith.
Xanayra, are you as hungry as me after watching that?
I am. We should go to one of those food trucks later, Katie.
Most definitely. But that's our report this week. I'm Katie Garceran.
And I'm Xanayra Marin-Lopez. For all of us at the Appalachian Weekly News, thank you for watching.
And welcome back to campus, Mountaineers. Remember the 3 W's, and we'll see you next time.